Madam Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Ministers, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to thank His Excellency the President for delivering yet another gracious speech and the sentiment he raised on the journey towards a better, modern, democratic nation. Madam Speaker, I would like to congratulate you on your reappointment and I wish you well. It is with great honor to be back in this august house, and at the outset I would like to sincerely thank my family, my dear wife and children for their support. To my close friends and dedicated campaigners, thank you for the hard work during the pre-poll period. To the Fijian people, especially my voters, thank you for bringing me back and having faith for me to serve you for another term. Madam Speaker, I wish to provide assurance to the Fijian people that through the Fiji First government we will continue to deliver our promises as highlighted in our manifesto of 2018. Madam Speaker, the current Fiji First government is not only here to deliver results, but we are here to deliver change to enable us to achieve the much needed results. Madam Speaker, there have been a lot of misconceptions on the role of government leading up to the elections. Fake news, false promises, misconceptions have been tools used to try and tip the balance of leadership. I am, however, pleased that the people have spoken, and through the democratic process, we, the government of the day, will bring security and stability to the nation of Fiji. Madam Speaker, allow me to touch slightly on the importance of security and stability for our people and our nation. In his presidential speech yesterday, His Excellency the President stated the importance of honesty. Honesty as a politician and being honest to our electorates, while ensuring that the common good of the Fijian people is kept at the forefront. Whilst having said that, I would like to reiterate that the government is determined to see this through. Only by doing so we will be able to set the fundamental platform to ensure Fiji's progress. Progress through economic growth, recognition of basic rights, protection of culture, heritage and the environment, creating a stable future and good governance. Madam Speaker, stability and ensuring security will allow for a more viable future for our nation, and the Fiji First government is dedicated to achieving this. At this juncture, Madam Speaker, allow me to touch briefly on the activities that have evolved within the Ministry of Fisheries over the recent past. It is important that before progressing, members of this Honourable House understand the basis of fisheries activities within government and the proper management of fisheries resources. Management that ensures the sustainable use of our resources while considering the underlying principle of proper fisheries management. This approach of an all-encompassing that takes into account all stakeholders with the fisheries sector. This is important because consideration is not only given to private sector, but the public sector, customary fishing right owners, and the general public. It allows for a more balanced approach in decision making. Precautionary approach allows for the protection of vulnerable species during uncertainties. At times, managers are faced with a daunting task of trying to find the balance between supporting commercial activities against the loss of vulnerable species. This approach allows government to put a stop to all activities that threaten the survival of vulnerable species which lack scientific information. Madam Speaker, while mentioning this principle, the Ministry of Fisheries will continue to work to ensure the sustainable harvest of marine resources. This will be a continuation of activities currently undertaken, such as the marine inventory survey and the collation of scientific data. This will allow us to address the threats faced by our vulnerable coastal areas and its resources, which have been exploited by bad practices. Additionally, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Fisheries will continue to impose ban and strict control measures on species that are vulnerable and need protection. In the coming months, there will be a review on the current catch limit, current size and catch limits. This is an ongoing activity and is aimed at establishing a more viable catch size for fish species. This initiative will ensure that species are harvested at a size that allows for sustainable recruitment to occur within stock. Madam Speaker, while there is a lot of pressure fixated on the harvest of wild-caught species, the Ministry of Fisheries is determined to propel in more efforts in the development of aquaculture. Over the past year, with the assistance of our bilateral and business partners, we have been able to revamp and refocus on improving aquaculture. Madam Speaker, past activities will focus on small to medium scale production. These have its own limits and production is always at a level that have not matched the local demand. To address this, the Ministry of Fisheries have secured technicians and appropriate funding to develop new techniques to improve aquaculture activities while investigating the production of suitable fish feed for cultured species. In particular, Madam Speaker, the commercial production of shrimp and prawns is an area of pinnacle focus. It has been envisioned that after conducting 2 shrimp conferences in the Central and Western Division, there still needs to be a lot of work done to involve private sector. That is why the Ministry would like to inform the Honourable House that we would like to ask for a government commercial company to spearhead the commercial culture of shrimp and prawns. Discussions with line ministers on the viability of this program will be done in the coming months. On the other hand, Madam Speaker, there are initiatives currently being undertaken to start culturing other viable fin fish. Madam Speaker, on that note, allow me to share my experience when visiting rural isolated islands. The Fiji First Government in its manifesto highlighted the need to improve living standard of all Fijians, and that is the reason why my team and I stayed out on the islands at least 3 months. In rural isolated islands which include Yandua, right up to Koroilavesau, Koroilavesau, right up to Edata, from Watulele right to Sawerara. That is all the islands that surrounds Vitilevu and Honolulu. While I do not agree with Honourable Charlie on the transportation, my information is that transportation and shipping has never been better because of the franchise shipping system. The visit by the ships now is almost 300% improvement from the previous. To improve the standard of living in these areas, the Ministry of Fisheries have begun programs to allow harvest, storage, sale of marine species to boost their economic activities. Madam Speaker, to address the issue of fish storage, the Ministry of Fisheries have begun trials on the establishment of solar-powered freezers. This will be rolled out in the coming months to allow for communities to store their catch prior to market sales. These, Madam Speaker, are just some areas of the Ministry of Fisheries will continue to work in the current budgetary year. Madam Speaker, I would like to simply highlight some of the issues that was covered by His Excellency the President. I would like to contribute my 5 cents worth on the importance of national economy. This is the sale of Kadavu, Madam Speaker. And in the Facebook, they had said that the Minister of Agriculture has promised to reduce the price of Yangon. And that's all fake news. The environment levy has been given 10 cents to the Prime Minister and plastic levy, 10 cents to the Prime Minister and 10 cents to AG. Madam Speaker, national economy and economic growth must be a priority of this August House. Madam Speaker, there have been rigorous debates over the years in the House about an economy, how our economy should be run. But ultimately, these arguments have been decided by the strength of our economy today. Government's record on the economy is one of historic record and breaking success. It has improved lives for all our people. It means prosperity for all, and it means a brighter future for all Fijians. Madam Speaker, we must not undermine the Fijian economy just for political gain. We must talk about our country first and not us as individuals. To debate by all means and create a battle of ideas, because that is a function of the Parliament. But to do so with humility and with national unity, national interest, common good is always at the forefront of our minds. Madam Speaker, we have moved our nation forward and realized these wonderful opportunities, all while preserving and promoting those that are most essential underpinnings of our cultural identity, including our protection of our customs, tradition, and land of the Itoke people. I am proud to say that our Constitution grants the strongest ever protection of Itoke land in Fijian history. Because of those protections, there is no way the Itoke land in this country can ever be permanently taken or alienated. Not one square centimeter of Itoke land has been lost either under the Bainimarama government or Fiji First government. Madam Speaker, all of us have solemnly sworn on oaths or affirmed our allegiance to defend our democracy. We have sworn and to protect our Constitution. The very document that allows us to come into this Parliament and grant us the privilege to speak on behalf of our citizens. A Constitution that says all Fijians, and a Constitution that guarantees common and equal citizenry. A Constitution that contains invulnerable protection for the continued communal ownership of Itoke land, and that recognizes the unique culture, the custom, tradition, and the language of the Itokes. All of us now have an unbreakable trust with God and the Fijian people to uphold this Constitution. And democracy, it is enshrined in this Constitution. And there is no attack to our democracy more potent than blatant attempts to foster disunity among our people. Madam Speaker, we need maturity, strong unity, and strong leadership. Leadership is not about picking a popular strategy. If that means straying from the truth, it is not about playing politics. To make headlines or landing punches on your opponents at the expense of national interest. Leadership is about speaking the truth, even when the truth may be difficult to hear. It is about putting forward real policy that is carefully crafted to create the greatest good of the public. It is about setting a vision for today, setting a vision today for tomorrow. The year ahead and even generations yet to come. By putting in work that yields long-term benefits to our children, their children, and the children after them. Madam Speaker, unfortunately, elections are also about differences, because each party seeks to distinguish itself from the other. But now that campaigning is done, we must come together as a nation to govern for the benefit of all our people. There will be disagreements, of course, but we are civilized people. We can manage those disagreements with civility and respect. keeping before us the ideal that we are elected to solve problems and improve the life of every Fijian. In every 48 years. In our last 48 years, an independent nation, not only for the past 4 years, have lived a nation governed by true democracy. All those years, we have, above our ranks, achieved one of the greatest times in our entire history. You see it as well as I do, Madam Speaker. The relationship between genuine democracy and prosperity is critically very clear. Our challenge is to make the next 4 years even greater, even more successful for our country, Fiji. 4 years on now, let us aspire to represent the Fiji that is stronger, more vibrant, more prosperous, and a people who remain united, committed to common purpose, filled with true love for all their fellow Fijians and the nation. That is true patriotism. That is what patriotism is all about. Thank you, Madam Speaker.